Okay, today is May 7th, the day of the real ID, which I don't have yet. This is Vince Marino Plumbing, LLC in Pittsburgh. What we're doing here today is we added this circulator. I'll have this done sooner or later. I'll have the full video and completion. So this particular zone goes to a baseboard. And I'll show you what the problem is. So they complained, the people that were living here, the baseboard never got hot. So this is the heating system. It's a crown board. I didn't put this in. And they have the circulator on the return side, as you can see down there. So they're going to sell this house. It's vacant right now, but this was, I believe, where the original radiator was. So they used those pipes for the radiator that was there and removed the radiator. And we're going to close these bleeders off. If you have a problem like this, where your baseboard doesn't get hot, especially for an underfloor, you definitely got to have a circulator, secondary. Because you're not going to pull the water through with the circulator on the boiler. So what they did is they built an addition here at some point in time. You know, that line where I was, which is the feed, you know, brings water through this baseboard. You can see it's 3/4 pipe. Now, we're going to shut this. So, we're going to fix here somehow the thermostat wire, and we're going to put that Taco relay to operate the circulator so we can pull the water. Now the problem is the thermostat's right there. See? So by the time that baseboard gets circulated, the house is off for heat. So what we're going to do is utilize the leftover heated water in the boiler and move the water through the baseboard, which it should add some efficiency to heat that room and actually boost the heat back here. These are cast iron radiators. So if you got a problem like that, that's what you can do. You don't need a high-powered circulator. So can we fill this? So you get these companies around in Pittsburgh, these certain companies that deal with cooling and heating, and they'll add that baseboard on there without knowledge that you're not going to move the water through that amount of baseboard in due time. By the time that would get there, the boiler's off on a cold heat. So we're filling the system. As you can see, they need a new feed valve. Their backflow valve. I'm going to call them right now. Okay. So in the meantime, what I'm going to do is we're going to adjourn this shortly, and I'll get right back to you. Okay, today is May 8th, 2025. We completed the circulator single zone. We used the Taco SR 501. Now what this is doing, this is the primary circulator, like I said yesterday. It's on a return, so we're not going to repipe all this. You can see whoever did this board didn't know what they were doing. This T's here, and the air eliminators past this under the T, so the air is going to go that way, and then, you know. So this air eliminator should have been down here, and then the T with two separate zones and a cap at the end of the T. But the problem was with this was originally to a radiator. So I added this ground force in 3-speed. I want to experiment between medium and low. I got the air out, and this thing is it's coming back. So what we have here, this is the other end. See this pipe here? Let me get my little light on here for you. So if you got a problem like this, forget it. So that's, I forgot the bracket here, this GoPro crap. This is it here, okay. So this is coming back. Now, you could have bled here all day. And nothing would have happened. So this is the feed. Have the circulator, how you call it, pumping away, throwing the water that way. This is on 1 speed. It's quiet. And the owners are moving here. They're going to sell this. So the problem was that addition never got hot. So we have cast iron radiator here. This room's hot already. And what I did was I fished the thermostat wire, drilled a hole through this wood here, you can see, and I fished it up under the crawl space. And I put the thermostat here because this is a brick. This is exterior wall here. And they drywalled. So this is putting out heat. It's moving. Now, this is going to add efficiency to this system. Okay, so you can see here, they came through with the baseboard. Okay, 3/4 now. All this piping and loop back, which is not a problem. There's one bleeder there. The problem was they had the circulator on the return side. There's a second floor here. So without repiping that bore, which it should be, I'll recommend it to them. The circulator apparently was losing its head pressure. It's in the book, pumping away. I suggest you get it if you're interested. So for this particular problem, the radiators would get hot. Okay? These are big radiators. All right? The thermostat's here, and there's a radiator here. See the other one there? That's a pretty nice size cast iron radiator. Now, the second floor has 3. They're cast iron, so where that baseboard was, it was at the end. The circulator was pulling this, all this radiation, cast iron radiators, okay? And the 3/4 tubing, the GPM wasn't there. Now, if that would have just been a radiator, which it was at one time, it would have pulled off the main. Okay, that's the other side of the radiator. And this is hot. I'm charging my thermogun. So that's considered a zone. 3/4 tubing can only move so much GPM, I guess. You have to do the math. 1 gallon per minute is 10,000 BTU. We're starting to do it this morning. But if you've got a problem like that, that's what you got to do. Originally, this piping, which is below my foot here, this was, I believe, a window. They sealed it off. The radiator was in this room here, along this wall, okay? So that radiator was here, was off this near main piping. They extended it. This is off the 1.5-inch pipe. So you couldn't get the GPM through this baseboard because the circulator was pulling back on that side. It wasn't airlocked. This was bled. I tried bleeding it several times. There was no air in here. So by using the circulator on the supply side of this circuit, which is a zone technically, they should have did that from the beginning. We're forcing the water through, and any air molecules, particles and molecules, air bubbles. And what's happening is the water and the air bubbles are being forced out of that spiral vent. So this was a much more economical way than repiping the borer. And they actually, this was closed. This should be left open a little bit so the air can escape. You don't tighten those. I've seen people on YouTube, they tighten these. You're not supposed to tighten this. Just leave it cracked because there's a stainless steel brush in here. As the water's flowing, this air comes out. This system's quiet now. It's very quiet. So if you're in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, surrounding area, mainly Squirrel Hill, the city, outside Mount Lebanon, you know, North Hills, steam borers, hot water borers, give me a call. Vince Marino Plumbing LLC. You can see my site, vincemarinoPlumbingLLC.com. These would have been complicated procedures if they would have called an HVAC company here in Pittsburgh. They would have known to do this. Few people would have. This thing is roaring. It's hot, okay? So by adding this, of course, it's a little bit jammed, but I had to fit it in there. This thing is moving the water. It's forcing the water for this zone off this main. You understand? So you get 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches feed. It's a 2-pipe system, okay? And originally, this pipe went right through the floor of the radiator and come out on the other side right here, so it was off the main. What they did was they extended the supply pipe to use for baseboard, so there was no movement of the water. It wasn't fast enough. Wasn't no GPM, gallons per minute. So that pump, I believe, that circulator handles 17 gallons per minute, or head pressure, or whatever it's on here, or 21. It's a 3-speed. This goes up to the at least 30 feet. And I have it on low. That's all we need. Standard Takeo 1-speed would have been fine. And this thing is roaring. This guy was complaining for years. I've been here. He said, you can't get this hot. So this is my thermo gun. I used a B20. How the heck I see use that? It's not coming on. Maybe it's dead. It's dead, see. So I'll check this out tomorrow. But anyway, this is a simple fix, a solution where you got a problem where they take the supply and feed for a radiator and run a circuit. This was extended to a circuit, 3/4 baseboard circuit. Now, when this boiler shuts off, now of course, if this was done nice, you could have put a manifold here and put the circulator here. This will also turn the boiler on, but I didn't do it that way because it's not necessary. This is a crown boiler. I also put a new feed valve in here. The backflow was fouled on the other one. So I used the Califi. It's a good setup. They changed these now. I was buying the Cambracos because the Califi, they used to have a fiber washer. They now put O-rings in here, so they're embedded O-rings into the coupling nuts, which this is good. So I'm going to buy this setup. It's a lot cheaper than the Watts. Now, this system's air-free. It's running clean, silent. I opened up that spiral vent, and they're going to get heat. As long as this boiler runs, just leave these cracked a little bit, don't tighten them. As long as this boiler runs, it's going to be cranking heat. Now, when the boiler shuts off, on its call of heat, you can see here, this thing is roaring. We're dead. Okay. We're going to charge it here and get out of here. It's a long day. So we got a return coming back. Tomorrow I'll measure it, and we got heat coming out. Now this is on low, high. Now if you put this on higher, this boiler will run longer. Probably low should be good enough, because when this boiler shuts off, the circulator is still going to run with the thermostat. So whatever's left sitting in this boiler, I don't know if you guys are understanding, whoever's watching this, when this boiler shuts off, there's residual standby heated water. That damper closes. So that circulator will run depending on the call of heat in the rear. Okay. Now, this is probably going to run more efficient. This room was never hot, now it's hot. So to touch up here, we added a circulator for a single zone on a 2-pipe hydronic hot water heating system for an additional added circuit for an additional room to the rear of this house. Now this thermostat's already at 69. It was at 66. It's set to 72. So 71, 72 should be good during the winter. This bathroom used to freeze. Now it's kicking out heat. Okay? So the primary circulator is pulling the return water back. Now, in the event, I set this to 68, 75. This satisfies for heat. The heated water still would heat that back addition and pull the water actually all out of the main, circulating through that baseboard. So it's going to continually force the water through the zone and back. And we're going to do that right now. Okay, so being that the circulator's on the supply, it's still pulling the heated water through this zone and through the basement loop, not the loop, the return pipe. If it was a single pipe, you know, it would be a single pipe. So this bores off, and they're going to be given the full benefit of the heated water. This is the radon you're hearing. So this is calling for heat. So this water that's sitting in here is being circulated through that rear of the house, through that baseboard circuit. So they're going to get full efficiency. You can hear it. You see? Very quiet. So when the thermostat satisfies in the back, the circulator will shut off. Now you can wire that Taco control to the boiler, but it's not necessary because by the time that thermostat shuts off, it's going to use the residual heated water to heat that room, plus the kitchen and the bathroom and the house on the first floor. And that heat is going to rise. Now, other than that, if you have any problems on hydronics, give me a call. This is a simple solution to fix for an added circuit that shouldn't have been without a circulator. So you understand, this circulator's back here in the return. It's a Taco, I believe. So it's pulling everything through the return with a bullheaded T from this side, the front of the house, but it's not making the rear of the house. Now that I added the circulator, it is. We're boosting the water flow through that baseboard. And it has nothing to do with this bore. It won't add no pressure difference or anything to make the relief valve go up. It's just boosting it on that side of the supply side. In the meantime, this is Vince Marino, Plumbing LLC in Pittsburgh. Excuse me. You got any hydronic or steam heat problems, give me a call. Arrivederci.